All right. Good morning, Story Trading VIPs. It's Monday, February 6th. We got a lot to cover, some news items this morning, but also we're going to get to Aaron Warwick in about 5 minutes on PESI, PESI. There was some news out this morning, and there's a lot of stock movement at the end of the week. First, looking at the major indices, QQQ SPY, it's pulling back. Look, there's lots of opinions out there. There's huge debate right now whether that was just a bear market rally or this is the top, and we're going to go back into a very painful area. And, I see the arguments on both sides, but I'm sticking with two things. There's technicals and sentiment I'm relying on to give you guys my belief that we are currently in a bull market. Now, how long it lasts, I don't know. But what I'm looking at here is the 200-week moving average. You can see we broke above that 50-week moving average. I'm sorry, the weekly moving averages. We broke above the 50-week moving average on the SPY, a very, very key level. And as well, we did that on the QQQ. And I'm combining that with what I'm interpreting as a Fed pivot on Wednesday, a qualitative Fed pivot, not a quantitative Fed pivot. I think the wording and the tone in that meeting was so starkly different than in the past. It technically pivoted yet. That's how I'm looking at that. And in that very near term, the market agreed with that reaction I had. You can see this was some of the biggest short covering in history that came right after that Fed pivot on Wednesday. So between that sentiment of a Fed pivot and over 50-week moving average on the key moving averages, I think that we're in the clear for at least now to buy the dips. Now, fundamentally, longer term, that's a different story. But for right now, I think we have the all clear. Now, just moving to some individual stocks. There was some news out on ACTG. That one's from Matt Colbin, our community. So they're doing the rights offering, and it's what's the name of it? Starboard. Starboard is apparently investing millions of shares. They're buying millions of shares at $5.25 at that offering number. So you could see the stock moving towards that price on the rights offering. AI, continuing to see momentum with AI. No specific news with AI, but Google did invest $400 million in an AI, a private AI competitor. So that's giving a lot of momentum and positive sentiment to the sector still. So YEXT, another way that we're playing the AI trade. You know that from the thesis that Kris Tuttle has given us on YEXT and a few other people who like that. So I'm long YEXT on the AI play and the technicals here. Let's just review it really quickly here. Breaking above the 50-week moving average, a 2050 bullish cross on the weekly. I think this has potentially room up to $10. Let me just switch my 6-month chart to a weekly there. Okay, great. CETX, this is a high risk kind of like gamble, but this is a low float reverse split play that got to keep its NASDAQ listing, and stocks like this have been running recently. And I just discovered this morning that it also has an AI angle, which I didn't realize. You can see it here in the company description, artificial intelligence. Now, this isn't completely reliable, the company profile. That could be old. You got to check out their website and the products and see where they really focus on. But the chart actually looks good. It's consolidating after a big move up. So I got a small position in this very highly risky stock. Be careful of that. GNS, another one of these highly risky stocks, so not necessarily the fundamentals there, but they're trying to squeeze out those naked shorts. They had some news this morning. They're doing an event on February 15th. I believe the stock, the dips are going to be buyable through that February 15th event. As people anticipate some further good news on the February 15th YouTube stream. Tesla been very strong. There's been lots of positive news since Friday. You had Elon Musk is innocent of that court case of the tweeting. They released an update on the battery factory, which a lot of people were very impressed with, the statistics coming out of that battery factory. And there was one other item. Yes, they raised the prices because of demand on Model Y in the United States. So all of this leading us to believe we still have room. We were on this since 120, kept hitting our swing targets. We kept having to update our swing targets. And at this point, it's over 200 plus. Exactly where that target is, I'm not sure. You see resistance here at about, exactly at like 199. But then you have this other level at the 200-day moving average of 224, which could be a reasonable target. So Tesla looking good. Bed Bath & Beyond, I'm waiting for this to go bankrupt. I'm long puts on that, waiting for that bankruptcy. We opened a research room on bankruptcy stocks, bankruptcy bets. So we're talking about Carvana, Bed Bath & Beyond. So take a look at that if you're interested. Go EV, man, we're waiting for this offering, and the plan was to buy the offering. Now, I'm a little concerned because the offering was a little smaller than I wanted it to be. It's only $52 million. I mean, they need hundreds of millions of dollars. They got the good contract with Walmart, but they do need money. I did buy this dip in the morning. I was a little too quick. I got in at 95 cents. Should have had a little more patience and back to about break even. But I also didn't like that there were warrants in this offering. Nonetheless, the offering was at $1.05. The warrants priced at $1.30. So, I did expect a bounce in here somewhere. I was just too early at 95 cents. But yeah, longer term, I'm not sure we're waiting for that huge offering. It's at least Julian and I, hopefully hundreds of millions of dollars are financing from Walmart to really get them funded enough to reach profitability. I'm not sure that $52 million is going to be enough for this EV maker with a nice little niche that Tesla's not competing in. So interesting story there. We'll be monitoring. LLAP, I've been trying to go for a move to $2.50, a swing move, but that hasn't really happened. There's some news out this morning. This is the one that's backed by Lockheed Martin, the aerospace company backed by Lockheed Martin, and some deliveries that they're doing there. There's a little bit of news this morning that they're going to be presenting at the Small Sat Symposium on 2023. A little bit of a bid this morning, and I have noticed that pre-market action in LLAP does seem to follow throughout the day. So maybe this is the day we finally break out and make a move towards 250. But I don't know. I think I'd like a better catalyst than just presenting at some conference that we had this morning to have confidence that we're going to quickly move to 250. Celsius had a little upgrade this morning. Haven't talked about this in a long time. This is just sitting in my long-term account. Upgrade from Wedbush. They have a lot of other price targets recently there. 104, a couple of 104 targets, a 110 target. So solid growth company, just been sitting in my portfolio. Recession resistant in the food category. PHRRF had some news this morning. Wow, it's already up even though it's OTC. Looks like they're finally getting revenue. $12 million biotech company that's getting some revenue. There's that psychedelic company. I don't own a position. I haven't been on top of this. I've been noting lots of patent news coming out. But in the past, they've had patent news and orphan drug designation news, and it didn't really move much. But this time, I guess because it was risk on, right? Good timing here in January for microcaps, but it doubled, now tripled with this morning. So this is something to look at because there's actually now revenue you're talking about. Didn't say how much, but you're talking about a $12 million biotech with revenue, something interesting maybe discuss in our community today. CANO took a little bit of a risk last week, hoping for more buyout rumors after it crossed the 50-week moving average. Where is it? 50, I'm sorry, it was a 50-day moving average. So across the 50-day moving average on Friday, maybe that's the start of a move. So maybe we'll get some additional rumors of buyouts here on CANO. So I did buy that on the technical cross Friday. That brings us to PESI. PESI has had a huge move recently. Last time we had Aaron Warwick on, he talked about QIPT. There were a couple other stocks he had mentioned he wanted to bring to our community. I guess it was my mistake not bringing him earlier on PESI, but PESI really took off last week, and I do see the company finally commented this morning on the news that was driving it. So let's bring on Aaron Warwick to talk to us more about PESI.
Hey, Ben, how are you this morning?
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good, doing really well, especially as it relates to PESI.
Yeah, very, very nice. I mean, this is some strong movements. I did see the community talking about this, whatever this Department of Energy notice was last week, but I didn't know much about it. I didn't know how to interpret it, and it kept on running. So tell us what that notice meant, why it kept on running, and if there's additional upside from here.
Yeah, I think there is additional upside for sure. So let's just the memo, or excuse me, the last week the document that was released by the Department of Energy relates to the Hanford site cleanup. Hanford is I think the biggest nuclear waste site in the Western Hemisphere. Perma-Fix has a site nearby where they can treat the nuclear waste, and so. There's three different ways that Perma-Fix can benefit from the Hanford site cleanup. And I should take a step back and say that this Hanford site cleanup has been delayed multiple times. It involved ultimately lawsuits by the state to get the feds moving on it. And so Hanford is moving forward right now, and this is continued verification of that. So there's three ways that Perma-Fix can benefit from this, and this is just one way that Perma-Fix benefits, and is actually probably the smallest way that Perma-Fix could benefit, and that is cleaning up secondary waste. They call it DF law. It's a direct feed, low activity waste is what they're talking about. And so basically the main plant that's going to be operating, it opens up in December 2023. The main plant that's going to be operating at Hanford to clean it up is going to be run by the government. It's not going to be run directly by Perma-Fix, but when they clean that up, there's secondary waste related to the cleanup, and that's what Perma-Fix is planning to treat, and that's what this document addresses.
I got it. Interesting. This waste that they're cleaning up, is it because of what is it, from a nuclear reactor, or how did that waste get there?
Yeah, there was development of nuclear weapons testing up there at Hanford, and so essentially what happens is it's called vitrification. They're essentially turning this waste into glass to be able to store it safely, and when they do that, it actually creates secondary waste, and that's what Perma-Fix is going to be addressing here. Now, what's interesting about last week's release is it's called the final WIR, WIR. I can't remember what WIR stands for, but it relates to this DFLAW facility. But in any case, what's interesting is that the big question has been, is that waste going to be treated, that secondary waste going to be treated on site, or is it going to be treated commercially? So Perma-Fix's expectation was that this final document would say, whether it was going to be treated on site or whether it was going to be treated commercially. Well, not only did it say it was going to be treated commercially, it said very specifically that it was going to be treated by Perma-Fix. So they were surprised that the DOE actually named them, all over that document. And then today's release, I know, was, in speaking with the CEO, they weren't going to release anything unless it was approved by the DOE. So this release has been approved by the DOE, and you can see that the DOE is relying on Perma-Fix for at least the next 10 years to be part of that.
So what kind of revenue or profit opportunity from income for PESI here?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly. I can tell you this much, and that is that it's significantly more than Perma-Fix expected. The amounts of waste that they're talking about sending Perma-Fix is even more than Perma-Fix expected. Now, where there's further upside is, so Perma-Fix will eventually, they're still in the process of figuring that out. They should announce it on the Q4 call, which should be, I would guess, mid-March based on past precedent. But where there's even more opportunity is there's Perma-Fix is involved in what's called TBI, the Testbed Initiative, which would be a way to help clean up Hanford. This would be in addition to this vitrification plant that was addressed in the document last week. And the expectation right now is that the DOE will be releasing something to talk about that Testbed Initiative and what their plans are there. But that would be a massive opportunity for Perma-Fix. It would probably more than double their revenue immediately if the DOE plans to move forward on that. And then the other thing related to Perma-Fix that's still outstanding is, and we expect it to be released later this quarter, and it makes sense that they're releasing the document last week first. The document last week is basically the game plan for the vitrification plant, for the cleanup, how that's going to be handled. And so the big award is going to be a services contract. So as I said, the government's running that operation, but they need companies like Perma-Fix and other large companies to run it for them because they don't have expertise in that area, in the nuclear cleanup. And so Perma-Fix is part of one of two bidding conglomerates that are bidding on this contract. It's $45 billion over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, Perma-Fix is not the main they're a subcontractor. So, I'm just throwing this out there in terms of, this is nothing at all the company has said, but let's just assume that Perma-Fix gets 1/10 of that contract, because again, there's a couple subcontractors that are involved. Then you're talking about even just 1/10 of it, 4.5 billion over 10 years would be like 3-4 times their current revenue. So that's the granddaddy of them all. I call that a free call option. So Perma-Fix's core business, what they're doing now, what we just found out about with the DOE on this DFLAW facility, that in and of itself shows that the stock's undervalued. I think it should be worth 10 today just based on that. And, this other stuff is just additional upside potential.
Well, there you go. It's at 573 now. The 200-week moving average is right here at 583, and you're saying fundamentally it could be worth 10. So congratulations to that big move you got there, Aaron. I'm happy for you. That's working out. I think there's another stock we'll bring you back later. Maybe I think it's INTZ was the other one.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do
All
that
right.
sometime. Final thing I want to say real quick on Permafix, if possible, is that they've been talking about this. You can look at their conference call transcripts. They're going to be bought out once this is all figured out. So, just based on that alone, I think the stock is a buy. It's pretty clear that there's companies that are interested in buying them out. They just have to figure out how much upside there is with Hanford, and then once that is figured out by the end of the year, so they'll be sold.
Sounds great. Thank you so much,
Thank
Aaron.
you.
We'll be in touch on your next
Sounds
stock,
good.
INTZ,
Sounds good.
soon.
Thanks,
All right.
Ben.
Take care.
Bye.
Yep. Bye. Good morning, Vegas. Got a brand new week. How you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good. Feel good. Market's looking good to me. So look forward to seeing what this week has in store.
I'm with you too. I think I have a bull bias still after that big 50-week moving average break on the major indices. We got a Fed pivot, in my opinion. So things are looking good. So what's on your radar? Got top 1 or 2 picks for us today?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say Amazon's one of my top picks. I like that it's over this level of 102, and looking for Amazon to head towards maybe 103.40, 105.20. So that is a top pick. So I'll be looking to play the 102 calls in the money for weekly. So looking at that one, and obviously everyone's been talking about Tesla as a result of the news that this 420 funding secured tweet is a non-issue.
Yep. There's a lot of news, not just that. Lots of good news over the weekend on Tesla.
Yeah. So that one there is another one of my top picks. Really liking to see Tesla today in particular. I really want to see this over 194.50. So you could see here pre-market we did break that. We're just slightly below that, but if it does reclaim that 194.50 and break through, we could head towards 198. And then if it breaks 200 today, which by the way, it has the potential to do that because Tesla is very powerful. If it does break 200, I am definitely going long on Tesla contracts. And we'll go long in the March contracts, March 17 expiry. I mean, if somebody was to do like a shorter term, like Feb 17 monthly, caution on size because it's only 2 weeks out. I'm targeting Tesla actually to head towards 225.
I'm with you. You see it? I have it marked right there.
Yeah.
225. Yeah. That's right there. That's a 200-week moving average.
Beautiful.
I'm on board with you 100%.
So, looks really nice. This 200 level is so key for Tesla. So I think we'll see all these traders go bonkers, especially, those traders that take $10 trades or $100 trades. Like they thrive on stocks breaking those $100 levels. So if we break that 200 level, they're going to be in there jumping in. So definitely looking forward to seeing how this one can play out, but looks good to me.
Awesome.
Good.
Tesla, Amazon. I like Tesla better because it got the weekend catalyst, which were great. But let me just ask you if you have time to comment on BBIG. Are you familiar with BBIG?
Yeah, I know BBIG. I've traded it many times.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had news this morning. Pretty significant looking news. They're acquiring the National Enquirer, National Examiner, and the Globe.
Oh wow, are they really? Oh my gosh. Well, I can't believe how cheap the stock is. Like 82 cents. I will say that, I'm looking at this weekly chart, and so we have a breakout setting up here on this weekly chart. So this stock has to hold like 66 cents. So it's got to stay. I think this can head towards 120 and 130. So looks really nice here. This is a beautiful, actually a great swing trade. Thanks for telling me. I'm gonna like this here swing idea.
I got the same
81 cents. What stock do you have?
I have the same target as you, 120 to 125. Actually got in at 80 cents this morning, but I'm not gonna do this for more than a day trade. I don't trust the company I don't want to get into the reasons why I don't, but like I would be scared of a toxic offering, maybe even directly associated with this all cash deal. They got to get the cash to buy these companies out. So who knows if we get that today after hours or later this week. So for me, this is just a day trade. I got in at 80 cents, and I think there's a possibility it could hit 120 to 125 even today.
Well, you know what? That looks good. It has the momentum there. What is the float? Did you know the float on this one? Let me take a
I
quick
can
look and
tell
see.
you
So, because right now
230
BBIG,
million is shares outstanding. I don't know the float, but it's
how much?
19.5%.
230?
230 is the shares outstanding, not the
Ooh,
float. And the
okay.
short interest is about 20% of the float.
Okay, so this could be like a little short squeeze candidate, but the weekly looks really nice here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks good. Looks good. What looks good for like, for day trade, but you know what? The weekly chart looks good to me as long as it doesn't go under 66 cents. So I'd be comfortable holding this trade all day. I would actually even swing it if it does not close under or go under 66 during the day. So I mean, obviously I have after hours access. I could close my trade if something happened, but 66 must hold. But I will say this, looking for a breakout on the weekly. So it'll be interesting to see how the market pushes the stock.
Sounds good. I love it when we're aligned, Vegas. I like your Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon, you always seem to pull out these things. I'm sure Amazon will work too. I mean, nothing's a guarantee, but you have a great track record. So good luck today.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. And I have a story that I'm going to message you. So we'll do a show on a special gem that I found. So I'll talk
Sounds
to you
great.
soon about that.
Let's
Okay,
do it.
have a great day,
All right.
everybody.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
everyone. Bye-bye.